So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZWGames5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below.
What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr War Games, and as promised, following our opening of this bad boy earlier, we are bringing you a budget deck that requires 3 of these. That is it, nothing else. We are not putting in any outside cards into this deck. This deck is competitive using just 3 of these. Now, of course, if you do have access to stuff like the Guard Dragons and additional monsters to go in your extra and main deck, of course, go for it. You can use this as a starting basis, pull out the cards I'll go through them and pull out the cards that are overused in this deck just because we need to fill in the space. With some of the cards, they are the best choices, but I mean, like, you've got Triple Twin Twisters, and then your Polys. There's other cards that you can replace them for just to add a bit more consistency and a bit more of a competitive edge to it. However, this build right here is only using 3 of these, which retail at around, I believe the UK retail is about £9. So for £27, you can get a full competitive Rokket deck, and then for £3 more you can get some other little bits you can put into this that make it a little bit better. And then if you do have, of course, your Ashes, your Ogres, Veilers, anything like that, then of course you can put them in there and be a bit more disruptive as well. So, without further ado, what I'm going to do is take you through this profile, show you exactly what we've got and explain why we've got it. Now, before I get started, obviously a massive shout out to Joe, who is the Rokket player amongst us here at Zephyr. So this build is purely of his creation, and he will be bringing you a full powered version tomorrow once he gets to crack open his decks and build them physically after he's used one with the proxies. And as you saw from using his proxies, he can actually make a triple borrow load board, which is incredibly powerful. So you can end on the Fusion, the Synchro, and of course one of the Link 4s as well, which pretty much gives you game or a defensive board to really hurt your opponent. So let's get cracking. Of course, we play triple Rokket Tracer Dragon. This is the card that you get in the starter decks, and only in the starter decks currently. So this card is really cool. Actually does a lot for the deck. It is a tuner, but that's not so relevant in this deck right now. Basically, what you want to use and abuse is its quick effect to target one face-up card you control to destroy it, and then special summon one Rokket monster from your deck except himself. Do not worry about special summoning monsters from the extra deck, only dark monsters, because that is exactly what you play. Your entire extra deck is dark monsters. We then move on with triple Absoluta Dragon. Really powerful card, and it's if you control a Rokket monster, you special summon this. So in this deck, when everything is Rokket, this is just a free summon. Now we've maxed it out at 3 just because it is that powerful, but if you want to be going a bit more competitive, you'll take one of these out, and so you puts in some other cards as well, and this is one of the spaces you can cut down. And then of course we've got triple Magna Rokket. This is probably the best Rokket reprint that we got, not including obviously borrowed, but in the main deck kind of plays. And it's when a Link monster's effect is activated that targets this face-up card. Quick effect, destroy this card, then send one monster from the field to the graveyard, to the graveyard. So you just get to send one card. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Rokket monster from your deck. So it's very good to kind of get the plays going. It is the most important Rokket that even in the main deck and the full power version, you will be playing 3 of. We've then got 2 Metal Rokket Dragon. Again, another nice reprint. So when a Link monster's effect is activated that targets this face-up card on the field, quick effect, destroy this card, then destroy all of your opponent's cards in the column this card was in during the end phase. If this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field by battle or card effect, send in this turn, special summon one Rokket monster from your deck except himself. We've then got 2 Auto Rokket. This is one of the, when a Link monster's effect is activated that targets this face-up card on the field, destroy this card, then send one spell or trap card on the field to the graveyard. So of course it gives you a bit of back row hate as well. We've then got double Gateway Dragon. This is pretty much an honorary Rokket monster. So if your opponent controls a Link monster, you can special summon this card from the hand. You can only special summon Gateway Dragon once per turn this way. And then once per turn you special summon one level 4 or lower Dark Dragon monster. So straight away you normal him, and he gives you an auto straight away going into a Link 2 borrow. We've got the 1 Assessed Dragon. This is, of course, the 2200 Defender that you can bring off going a bit more defensive plays. The 1 Shelter Rokket. The 1 Rokket Synchron. The 1 Exploder Rokket. And then of course the one Silver Rocket Dragon as well. So all of these one-offs, they aren't as important purely because their target effects aren't really going to push you further forward. This one is quite nice because it does nice little 2k damage, but it doesn't have any way of special summoning itself, apart from it obviously counting as a rocket monster. You special summon it from the deck with some of your other rocket monsters as well. The best thing is it is a quick effect when it gets targeted by a link monster. You destroy this card, then each player takes 2,000 damage. So if you want to be burning your opponent out for the rest of the game, this is something you rely on late game, not necessarily early game. Then for the spells, we've got triple boot sector launch. This is the better one of the two, purely because all rocket monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. So it turns your aesthetic rocket into a 2500 defender for just a normal set summon monster. And then you can activate one of these effects, special summon up to 2 rocket monsters with different names from your hand in defense position. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, special summon rocket monsters with different names from your graveyard in defense position up to the difference. So this is a nice one that if you go second and you put loads of rockets in the graveyard, or you link them all for a link 4, you can then use your boot sector launch to bring all of those rocket monsters back. Let's say, for example, your opponent's got a full board of 5 monsters, or even 6. You make your link 4, you then get to play your second boot sector launch effect to then bring back those 4, and you can end up with 2 link 4 monsters, so they're your Topologic, or of course 2 Borreloads if you really wanted to get greedy. We've then got triple quick launch. This is your additional extender. You get to special summon 1 rocket monster from your deck. It cannot attack, but you destroy it during the end phase. Doesn't matter. You're using this to link climb, and it isn't a hard once per turn, which is why we are playing 3 of this guy. Triple Twin Twisters, great little reprint in this deck. This is something that, depending on what you're facing, you can take these out quite easily. If you're not going to be facing against heavy back row or anything to kind of deal with, then you can take out Twin Twisters as a nice, easy alternative. We then have double Squib Draw. So you type 1 rocket monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, draw 2 cards. Now this is a hard once per turn, but obviously it triggers the destruction effect of your rocket monster during the end phase. So if you wanted to, during your opponent's end phase, you trigger Squib Draw because it is a quick play, pop one of your rocket monsters, get that rocket monster to special summon 1 from grave. So let's say your opponent's on 2,000 or less life points, and they can't get past one of your monsters, or they couldn't destroy one of your rockets. You Squib Draw, destroy that rocket then triggers to bring out your Exploder Rocket Dragon, set that in defense, draw 2 cards, then during your opponent's turn, you make a link monster, target this, pop it, burn your opponent for 2k, game. It's a nice little win con in this deck. And then for the other ones, we've got the 1 Rapid Trigger, the 1 Borrel Supplier, the 1 Polymerization for your fusion plays. We've got the 1 Return of the Dragon Lords. Now the reason we're only playing this at 1 is, if you did not figure this out, we only have 2 targets to be using the Return of the Dragon Lords on, and that is your Absolder and your Exploder. So it's not as prominent to be used as 3. However, the better effect is its second effect, and that is if a dragon monster or monsters you control were destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So it gives you your full round protection, but it does need to have one of these 2 in the grave to get this in the grave. In the pure version, you could play Foolish Bearer of Goods as well, or in the full power version, sorry, you could play Foolish Bearer of Goods just to make this a little bit more consistent if you wanted to. Dragon Shrine, another way to get one of these 2 into the graveyard to then revive it off the Return of Dragon Lords. And then of course the 1 Borrel Regenerator. So activate this card by targeting 1 rocket monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and equip it with this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster is destroyed, you can draw 1 card. Only use the effect once per turn. So again, hard once per turn, and you have to have a monster in the graveyard already, and it's only going to draw you 1 card. It's not as good as the field spell, which is why we only play it at 1. And then for rounding up the traps, double Mirror Force and 1 Magic Cylinder, because in this modern age, if you put a monster on board that can be targeted and you attack not even considering these because they are so low down, like the thought process in this modern game, you could actually lose a game really, really hard to something like this. There's so many times where I'll have a board of monsters, my opponent will have 1 set card, and I'll jokingly say, oh, I hope that's not a Mirror Force because that will really wreck me. Now, luckily in this, like I said, in this current game, and no disrespect, but the more newer players to the game are actually playing these, and you have no idea how many wins they'll get just because they're playing cards like this that the modern day player or the more experienced players aren't expecting. They're all expecting stuff like Widow Anchors or oh, why is it just gone out of my head? The trap card, it's just gone out of my head. The trap card that targets the monster and steals it. I can't believe that's just literally run out. I play the bloody thing as well. Crackdown, there we go. So people are expecting crackdowns, they're not really expecting anything like Magic Cylinders or Mirror Forces now. That's purely because sometimes cards can't be destroyed by card effects. Sometimes it's because they can't be targeted. But I'm telling you right now, if you are a new player and you're like, I'm going to pick up 3 Rocket decks, this is how I'm going to build it, putting cards like Magic Cylinders, Mirror Forces in your deck will actually win you a surprising amount of games right now. And even some of the bigger players right now, I'm telling you, stuff like Storm Mirror Forces, if they survive on the board during the battle phase and your opponent doesn't try to clear them off because they're like, what's the worst it can be? Hitting them with something like this is actually incredibly powerful right now. I'm not saying it's going to be the new side deck tech, because eventually once they've seen it once in deck, you know, they're going to play around it a little bit more and be a bit more cautious, but it can certainly steal you some games. Onto the extra deck. This is one of the first decks that we can do that has a full extra deck. And we are playing 2 of the brand new Borreload Furious Dragon, 2 of the brand new Topologic Zero Boros, double Quad Boral Dragon. And then we get onto the triples, and we're going with the triple Booster Dragon, purely because this is a nice, easy Link 2 to get into with a bottom left and bottom right, and it requires 2 Rocket monsters. Then you also get to target one other face-up monster on the field. It gains 500 attack and defense. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect activation, and if this Link Summon card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, target one other Dragon monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So this can actually revive any of those, apart from your Topologic. Any of those I meant, because the Topologic is actually a Sideverse, funny enough. Then of course we've got triple Burst Dragon, because it is the only Link 3 that came in the starter deck. Still very, very powerful, very, very useful, and can actually revive your Link 2s as well. And then triple Borreload, because this guy is boss. If you've bought 3 of these and you've only got access to this extra deck, this is what you play. If you don't have access, you can go with a Boral Guard. You can go with a Boral Sword if you're lucky enough to have one of those. You can go into any other kind of Link 2s that you might need, just some generic plays. What you want to keep in mind of is sometimes you're locked into dragons. That's where the Guard Dragons come into play as well for this deck. You've got your Bomber Dragon, sorry. Any type of Link 4s, any Dark monsters, and any Dragon monsters that you can think of will always be a nice little plus to this deck to play around with, and it's something to upgrade. Like I said, watch out for Joe's full-powered Rocket deck that will be coming out for you guys tomorrow. There will be some tips and tricks in that deck, and like I said, if you're starting back into the game or you're looking for a new deck, start with 3 of these, build a version of this deck only using the 3 structure decks, then compare it with Joe's full-powered one tomorrow, and see what ones you can start to take out to get hold of the cheaper variants. And then if there's anything in Joe's profile, like a Boral Sword, that is going to be too expensive, then that's where you bump up your Borreload or you bump up your Furious Dragon, and you can go more focused central around there. Probably the one that will be the most standout will be the Savage Dragon, because it is the Synchro, and it has highly risen in price of late, hitting around 25 quid, and it is not confirmed to be reprinted in the tins because Savage Strike is not included. However, that does not mean it will not be in Dawn's Devastator in October as well, so keep that in mind. Anyway, I hope this helps. Hope this gives you a structure to build off of. This is what these are designed to do. They're designed for new players to go, cool, I've bought 3 of these, now where do I go? This is a structure for you to build, then start to slowly pull pieces out of it. It gives you the skeleton to build on top of, and that's what we're trying to help you guys do when new structure decks like this come out. Anyway, I hope you like this. I hope it's given you a helping hand in building your own Rocket deck. We have seen what past decks can do. Endymions are possibly going to be meta, if not used as pure, but as certainly as a skeleton or an engine. Salamangreats on their own, with their new support that came out with your Signet Mining, became an absolute Goliath in the meta industry. They just won Worlds. Obviously, they've had a nice balance, so they've been kicked back. Does that mean Rockets can sneak in there? You never know. All I'm saying is pick your Rockets up while you can. Have a bit of fun with them. You never know where the meta might turn right now. Anyway, thanks for watching. Help us to get to that 15,000 subscriber mark. We aren't too far off. We have been working all year round, and we are going to continue to do so, and your support means more than anything to us. So all we want to be doing is hitting some goals and get to where we want the channel to be. We are currently sitting, as I record this video, on 12,244, which means we are 2,750, quick maths, away from our goal. So if you can help be one of those subscribers to push that notification bell and subscribe to the channel, you will not regret it. There'll be loads more news, deck profiles, combos, anything you guys want that is Yu-Gi-Oh related to come onto the channel, let us know and we'll be more than happy to do that for you. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. And until tomorrow, guys, where Joe will be bringing you his full-powered Rokket deck, happy dueling! What's up, YouTube? Dad here with All Games. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, please hit that big thumbs up button in the bottom corner as well. And don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Make sure you click that notification bell as well so you know every time one of our new videos goes up. Throughout the whole year of 2019, we're going to have more deck profiles, duels, and of course pack openings for you guys to watch and enjoy the entire year round. So stay tuned for more, and as always guys, happy dueling.